Oh yeah, this one's good. Can we loop this one? Yeah. Fuck it if we get like copyright flag, right? Because fuck it. If we get like the copyright claim bullshit on my YouTube channel, fuck it, right? We gotta be like appropriate for the subject matter because the Khaiza is in a Kamen Rider mood, so that means we get to first of all pull out this fucking beauty. Wait, where is it? There you go. Yup. You get to pull out this card, and what we're going to be talking about today for our Toku time is the Fuuto Pi, or Fuuto like Tante, whatever you want to call it, tomato, whatever fits your boat, anime. It is a Kamen Rider W anime adaptation from the manga sequel of the original Kamen Rider W show that spanned for like 12 episodes, starting back at like August, I believe. August or like, yeah, it was August. And so, yeah, I was very jazzed about this like anime because, you know, for me, chat, right? I don't really much get hype for any like animes in particular. I'm a very much like an anime scrub or an anime noob, right? I'll watch like new seasons, I'll watch like new episodes of series that come out, and I definitely have like friends that really love anime to like a T. But you know, for me, if it passes my like factor, right? Like, if I like this show, then I definitely like dig it. And when I heard of the announcement of the Fuuto Pi anime back at like March or like February of last year, right? I was super excited for the Kamen Rider anime to like come out. Like, man, I want some Kamen Rider, I want some Toku action, give it to me right now, because like this anime is like I said, based on the manga of the Kamen Rider W sequel that happens 4 years after the original events of the show. So this is like grown-up Shotaro, this is like grown-up Philip. Sadly though, it doesn't have the original voices for Shotaro and Philip. There's also like Akiko and Terui Ryu, right? And all of like the OG cast that are in this anime adaptation. No, because I think they like, you know, it's like actors, right? They want to like call off a gig and like their gig is over, right? And funny enough, right? I think like one of the actors, Philip, the real life actor, got recently married, so kudos to him. Like, congrats to Philip, my boy, you know, settling down and having a wife, man. That's really awesome. But when I heard of this like anime, and I've read like the manga of this season, right? It's really good. You should go like check it out. I mean, it's incomplete, right? I don't know what the heck is going on with like translators and manga sites that are not, you know, making translations for all of like the later chapters, but it's really good, right? They do a really good job at like highlighting Kamen Rider W elements very well. And same goes for like the anime, right? Who was the animation studio that did this anime? I think it's oh yeah, it was called Studio Kai, right? And like I said, I'm not like an anime expert by all means. I don't know who the fuck Studio Kai is, right? Like I just saw them on like their opening credits and ending credits, which are fabulous, by the way. And I was just super fucking enthralled into the series because it looks good, it sounds super classy and nice, it sounds really authentic to the original series. I really dig it like a lot, right? And the characters are great, right? The OG cast is there, and there's also like new cast, right? We get like this new mysterious girl that is like Shotaro's girlfriend, quote-unquote girlfriend, Tokime, who has like a mysterious past, and like she's tied to like the villain. Well, I think we're talking about like characters, so let's go to like spoilers territory, right? So Fuuto Tante is again like 4 years. Is it like 4 years or after, or 5 years? 4 to 5 years after the events of the original series, and Hidari Shotaro is a detective in a city called Fuuto, right? Which, you know, it's the city that the wind like carries or blows, right? And so, and the episodes are 12 episodes, and they're structured by like different arcs. So the first 3 is one arc, then 4, 5, and 6 is another, so on and so forth, right? So in the first 3 episodes, we could like break it down. This will be a lot more easier in this review, right? Shotaro encounters a very pretty lady by the name of Tokime. She is like the witch of Fuuto, and this is like a detective show, right? And you know what I realized? I really like detective shows like a lot because it entails some like mystery, like what's the case, what's the situation, what's going on over here, right? I kind of like got glued into like that aspect of fiction, that genre of films and media a lot, because like I really like Knives Out. I like fuck, what's that other show? I do like comedy ones like Pink Panther and Get Smart. Well, Get Smart is like a spy show, but I do love detective shit a lot. But yeah, Shotaro is a detective, Fuuto, and he gets hired for a case that involves the pretty woman he met. I forgot what his name is. He's like some like fat agricultural farmer, and he hunts down whatever's like causing it, and by meddling with Tokime, who's like also involved with the case, Shotaro gets dragged into an alternate Fuuto called Shadow Fuuto, right, where like monsters reside, and of course he has a partner that helps him out in like combat and assistance with detective needs, and his name is Philip, whose real name is Raito Sonozaki from the Sonozaki clan, which, by the way, right, Kamen Rider, Fuuto Pi is a Kamen Rider Kamen Rider show, more specifically a Kamen Rider W sequel, right? So throughout like the whole show, you get like a lot of like nostalgia factor of these callbacks from the original show. Like they talk about dopants, they talk about Gaia memories, right? They talk about museum, all that shit, right? It's super fucking crazy, man. It makes you, if you have watched like Kamen Rider W, you will definitely like boost your review score up and like your likability and bias up, because you know you watched this show before, so you pretty much get like more enjoyment than just like a casual person who likes the art style for this anime and is, you know, unaware of like the little details that come about in this show, right? So Philip comes to the aid of Shotaro with the Echo Stream memory, right? And just this like little like henshin like bird device, right? And the case is like still ongoing. Shotaro and Philip have their bickering moments, right? Where Philip is like a person that is... He is a smart-ass He is a smart-ass detective, right? And his whole shtick in lore with the Kamen Rider W is that he was the forgotten son who fell down the center of the planet that is like connected to Gaia's like knowledge and will. And Gaia's knowledge and will is like this world database of every known factoid about the planet Earth, right? So the Sonozaki family thought he was dead, but somehow they preserved his body in like data form, and his abilities lets him like call upon the world's library, and he is just this like he's just this one-track mind type of dude that like if he's curious about something, he will like research every little factoid about that thing he's curious about. Like in the very first episode, when Akiko, who is the another character, the daughter of Shotaro's master, Shotaro's sensei master, Sokichi, she pretty much barges into Shotaro's office and is curiously taking a peek at like Shotaro's garage, where she finds Philip and tells him, "Oh, you know everything. I bet you don't know what was it, takoyaki?" And Philip, being the way Philip is, like, "Oh, bet? Let me research everything about like takoyaki," and he writes it down on his like little whiteboard, right? But yeah, Philip's character is that he is a smart, pretentious detective aide, right? I think one of my friends called him like a dweeb, right? And I know who that is. I think it's like James or Crack Rock Steady that mentioned that. But it's still really funny. That's true to him, right? So it's definitely on point. But yeah, right, like they get through the case, they do some bickering here and there. Shotaro has like a romantic interest for Tokime because of how, you know, pretty she looks. And like that's how I imagined like the season was rolling out to be, even like before the anime got like announced, right? Because what's a trademark of an anime? Big titty females, right? Like big titty girls, big titty women. Or like big hooch or big cooch, right? Like that's what sells, right? And knowing how like I read the manga and how the anime is, like, yeah, that's how it works, right? She's definitely like one of those like characters that's like is there to like draw attention, right? She's got a sweet voice. She's pretty. She's got a big hooch and a cooch, and like, yep, that's some anime characteristics right there. So yeah, that's like the fucking Tokime is literally the character that draws people's eyes, right? But in actuality, it's kind of like more than that, right? I thought it would be like the former, where people watch the Fuuto Pi anime and it's like everybody on Twitter talks about like Tokime, right? Tokime this, Tokime that, and she's like waifu for lifu. But it's actually the opposite. It's like I've seen on my Twitter, I think it's just because I have similar suggestions of tweets that of Twitter users that are Toku fans like myself, and pretty much it's just like the action sequences and the henshin transformations of Kamen Rider W, which happens in the second to third episode, is like, wow, yo, the transformations are like kind of lit, right? They really keep like the source material there, right? That's really like badass. even if it's not like the original voices for Shotaro and Philip, right? They still do a pretty spot-on job of making these characters look and sound amazing. And so anyway, by the end of like the 3rd episode, the case is like closed. Everything was like figured out, and it was actually like the farmer boy that takes like a dopant from a dopant like dealer, and there was like a mysterious monster that the boys battled. It was called a road dopant, and the road dopant comes from the shadow Fuuto, and we get our like big bad of the series, and it's someone by the name of Yukichi Bando, who looks very similar to Tokime and Spark, and has similar vibes, like similar like hairstyles, like, well, not similar hair, yeah, it's similar hairstyles to Tokime, but has like the dopant and has like dopant like transformations that make them into like actual living and talking monsters, you know. But that's episode 1 to 3, and that's where like introductions come in of like characters and how like the shows feel and shows like thematics are and all that shit. It's very fun. It's very awesome, and it's like immediately like hooks you in, right? At least like for me. Then there's like 4, 5, and 6, which is another arc about Tokime, well, after the events of 3, being accepted into the group and is a assistant to Shotaro, right? So it's like, it really is like a Kamen Rider season in the sense that like, what does Kamen Rider shows have before all of like the Neo Heisei shows that really focus on like the characters and the overall story, right? It's about all of the side stories, and then hidden underneath is like the main story of characters like interacting with each other, right? So that's really awesome. Like that's like OG like Kamen Rider story writing, right? And so like 1 through 3 is all about like introductions, and this one case about like a farmer agriculturist and a Yakuza gang, but deals with like Shotaro and his feelings for Tokime. 4, 5, and 6 is about a video game designer slash idol who doesn't like the idol aspect and is being like targeted by some like dickbag cheater who lost to her in a live performance event and vows to get revenge. But the other side of the story is that Philip and Tokime have issues with each other. Like Philip doesn't understand like human emotions because he is a dweeb, but Tokime just wants to like prove herself in the fold, right? So a lot of these like dual side like stories that really remind you a lot of like old school and even like Heisei Phase 1 story crafting, story building is really into this like Kamen Rider. It plays out like the fucking anime, right? It definitely fucking does. So that's really some like bonus brownie points for me. So 4, 5, and 6 was the game one. 7, 8, and 9 was like the snowy mansion where Shotaro and Philip get inside the mansion and play this game of house selection. Yeah, I think it was. It's basically like this mansion owner plays this game where he handpicks brides of his choosing, and whoever is the last one standing will be his wife, right? And the subplot is that there is a mysterious person in that mansion, and it is Yukichi Bando, and he's trying to see who is like a high dope. And the high dope, it was mentioned in the Kamen Rider W anime, and it's a powered up version of it's a power-up version of a Dopant user, and Dopants are literally like the size of this, but USBs. Because why not? It's a Kamen Rider. They gotta like throw in some like toy aspect into it, right? So that's 7, 8, and 9, right? And then the last 3 episodes, 10, 11, and 12, man, I wish there was like a second season already, straight up. Like, I know we haven't finished like spoilers, but man, there's so much more going on, right? Because 10, 11, and 12 has like a case where the group. Oh, and we also forgot to introduce fucking Terui Ryu, who is the husband of Akiko Narumi, right? And he is like the secondary writer of the series. He is a do not ask me questions type of person. He is a serious man with serious motives. Originally, he was there in the show just to fulfill his vengeance of a Dopant called the Weather, that killed his family like using a Dopant. And after like beating him, he found like, okay, vengeance is not the way. I'm here to like help you as a proper policeman. And so he's like a changed man, but damn, it's nice to see him like doing stuff in action. I like hearing his like voice though, because it fits, right? You know, in the OG show, right? Of course it is like the actor, right? So you get to hear like this like nasally like version of Terui Ryu. But in the show, I feel like even if it's not like the OG cast, right? Like I feel like the voices that do these characters here in this show really like man, these voices are spot on. Like they sound incredible. Like they're actually better than the actual actors themselves who played these fictional characters, right? It just goes to show, right? Like I say for the Bayonetta fiasco video and like my talks about Bayonetta 3, voice acting's important. Voice acting is pretty dope. You should never underestimate that field of acting, right? Because who knows, you get like some powerful fucking voices that you may not know that could be potentially like Troy Baker or Christopher Sabat or some shit like that, you know? But anyway, 10, 11, and 12 deals with the case of rescuing an engineer's, rescuing a little girl's grandfather who is an engineer that was tasked with working a object that's supposed to help like a henchman of Yukichi Bando's. Sorry, I feel like sneezing. Holy shit. And the subplot is that Tokime feels like she technically knows Yukichi Bando, but the whole like show is that she has amnesia, right? Like she doesn't know who her real self is. Much to like the similarities of how Philip is, because we didn't know who Philip was in the beginning episodes of W, but now we know who he is, and now he has a better clarity of himself. So Philip very much resonates with Tokime, but you know, Tokime has a romantic interest for Shotaro, and you know, my dumbass goober detective that plays like, you know, wants to be, you know, where's my hat? Just wants to be this like hard ass detective that I'm hard boiled. Deal with it. But is actually a softie on the inside. And so he has a romantic interest for Tokime, and vice versa for Tokime having an interest in Shotaro. And sister. Oh yeah. So Tokime has like amnesia. She doesn't know who she is, and then all of a sudden like a portal comes like behind her and like sucks her into like Shadow Futo. The posse comes in and tries to like save her. They fail by episode 10, and she like comes back in like episode 12, and they're like reunited. But yeah, Tokime is like this strong, brave woman that wants to like be true to her like herself, and like that's really awesome. But yeah, like the Kamen Rider Fuuto Tante ends with like 12 episodes, and that's much else for the Fuuto Pi anime. And like, you know, again, I wish there was more, right? Because it ends with a cliffhanger of Shotaro about to tell Tokime about his origins of being a Kamen Rider, which began in the Begins Night event, where that's the tragic event where he lost his sensei on the case trying to find Philip, but at the cost of Shotaro's master's life, right? And that really like sucks. That really sucks, man. Because that's like the whole theming of like Kamen Rider, right? You gain these like superpowers, but you lose something in return. Or like you lose something. Like they played that they played that kind of like cheesily in Revice, where Revice Iki gets a contract with Vice, transforms into a Kamen Rider, but the contract cost is that every time he transforms, he loses memories of his dearest family. And for Iki, family is important. Right? But yeah, like it plays very well on like the cost of things in order to like get power. Power comes with a cost, sort of thing. And so, yeah, I'm really hoping for like a greenlit of like a second season of Fuuto Pi. The transformations are really cool. The action sequences are really nice, right? Everything feels like a love letter to not just Kamen Rider, but W itself, right? Everything, like I said, is just a big like, oh my god, did you look at this small detail? That's so nostalgic, right? It has so much like, nostalgia like hype to it. Like you feel so you feel like you're almost crying, because like if you were a super hard fan of W, you really like this show. This is really tight. But yeah, like it ends like in the cliffhanger, and this is kind of like what I was like worriedly expecting of like Fuuto Pi, because you know, by the time this ends, nobody will remember Fuuto Pi, and guess what's happening in anime right now, right? Right now in October we have 3 major fucking animes like premiering on like in the same month of each other, right? There's Spy Family Season 2, there's Bleach, which I'm a Bleach fan, so you know I have to like watch that. This is their final, quote-unquote final arc. Excuse me. This is their quote-unquote final arc, so I am heavily invested of like, you know, how well the anime adapts the manga of the 1,000-Year Blood War. And there's Chainsaw Man, right? So 3 fucking like anime titans like coming out in like in October, and like I'm glad that like Fuuto Pi like ended at least, but you know, Fuuto Pi ended, and now these 3 big players are coming into play, and it's like now nobody will remember Fuuto Pi, which is kind of like the sad thing. And you know what's great? It's like I may not be an anime expert, but I feel like it came out at like at the right time where like nothing else interesting was like going on. Nothing else was really happening in like August or like September. There may be like some like good animes out there, but you know me, Chad. Like I said, I'm an anime scrub. I don't know much about like all these like different shows like Overlord or that time I got reincarnated as a slime and all that shit, right? Like, I have like no interest for other things unless an anime passes my like threshold. Like, do I like this series by the end of its first episode? Then yes, I like it and I will keep like watching it, right? But if it doesn't, then well, bye-bye. I will never see you again. Unfortunately, right? But yeah, like, Fuuto Pi is really good. The visuals are stunning. Characters look really good. Stunning shots like this right here, like, it looks really banger. Excuse me. That's a loud sneeze. Yeah, but this show is like really good. A lot of good stuff in here. Like, if you like Kamen Rider, especially Kamen Rider W, I recommend you go like watch this series. It's very short. It is not like a 24 or like something of that nature, right? This is a 12 episode, so that's as much as you're gonna get from Fuuto Pi. And like I said, my hopes is that they'll get a greenlit on a second season and we get more stuff about Kamen Rider W. I'm pretty much sure they're gonna be setting up like the Begins Night as like the first 2 or 3 the first episode, then or like the 1 episode, or maybe even like 2, right? That would be pretty cool to have. And speaking of like the Begins Night, like the and speaking of like the Begins Night, all like the nostalgia stuff, like there's so much like nostalgia, like love, like, you know what it is? It feels like the feelings I have for like Endgame or like Infinity War. Like, it's been 10 years. When Infinity War and Endgame came out, it's been like 10 years since like the first Iron Man movie and the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So and Infinity War and Endgame are crafted in a way that like, oh, we're not gonna like, you know, spend like 5 minutes or 2 minutes just re-explaining how did Iron Man become like Iron Man, you know? You've been watching these movies from the get-go, from the very beginning, so it plays itself very smart that that you've been watching these films from the beginning, so buckle up, right? If you miss any of these movies, go watch them, right? And I feel like the same way, though very accessible, right? Though it is very accessible, but it still plays like tongue-in-cheek on like, you know, man, if you watch Kamen Rider W like through and through, then you know what's going on. So it's like smart in a way, right? It does a little bit of like explaining here and there, but it doesn't like, you know, spoon feed you that, oh, this is that character, oh, this is this character. What's up? Nah, bye. I'm almost done. Okay. Yeah, that was dinner. Yeah, but it doesn't like spoon feed you what these who these characters are and what they do, right? They are pretty much like, they're self-contained. We know who and what they are, and so just go have fun and watch it. If you don't know these characters, go watch the show, right? But yeah, it's a really fun season, right? Regardless. Yeah, but I think we should like stop it here, right? There's so much more we can like go on. But yeah, Kamen Rider Fuuto Pi is really good. Go watch it if you're like a Kamen Rider or a a Toku fan in general, right?